Hey everyone, I'm Natalie. Welcome to Not Just a Home Thing, a podcast by Two Pages. Today I'm so glad I'm joined by Jeffrey. Hi.
Hey Natalie, how are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. It was fun to be invited, and I enjoy your energy, so it's nice to be here.
Oh, it's my honor. Yeah, Jeffrey is an Emmy-winning director, artist, and deeply soulful storyteller whose work spans film, photography, painting, and drawing. In this conversation, we talk about why human emotion matters so much in his work. Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here, Jeffrey.
Thank- Thanks for having me. I like being behind the camera, so it's okay to be in front of the camera, I guess, a little bit.
Oh, yeah, but I really want like share your energy, your like idea to more people. Like,
Well, I think the word energy is really what it's about. You
mm-hmm,
know, when it really comes to anything artistic or creative energy,
mm-hmm,
a lot of times just comes from an idea, from a blank sheet of paper. So,
mm-hmm,
in order to take that concept and then get everybody to believe in that concept,
mm-hmm.
you
Yes,
really
yes.
have to do the work.
Mm-hmm,
And then once you understand it and you believe in something, or the spirits or the energy or God is giving you the vision, then you have the belief to go have others believe in it. And that takes energy. It takes energy to
mm-hmm,
get people to believe in your project, to
mm-hmm,
say yes, because you can't do it alone, especially in
mm-hmm.
cinema. Like in painting, I can do it alone.
Yeah.
Photography depends on what you're doing, but I mostly, I can do it alone unless I'm needing people as a crew and we're getting
Mm-hmm,
casting and all kinds of stuff. But
mm-hmm.
you need people to believe in the vision.
Yes.
And I think that's something that it's to be an artist and to be a businessman are those two powers I think are pretty important in order to succeed.
Uh-huh.
And seeing through the idea and getting people to see the idea from
Yes.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my job. And I found that I don't know where my creative energy comes from, but everybody always told me I had a lot of energy, and
Yes.
but I use it. I put it to power every day. I get up and I get my coffee. I go to my studio, and if I'm not out and about shooting or casting or doing, I'm working. I'm developing ideas.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job. And I gotta tell you, I live in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate the one question. And I'm always
Mm-hmm.
like in gatherings is,
Yeah.
what do you do for a living?
Yes, yes, but it's important.
Oh, I say I'm a storyteller, and then there's a couple of
Mm,
people, they always want to check you up. Oh, what do you do? Where do you live? Where'd you go to school? My family on my side
mm,
did not go to college. They were
mm,
all workers.
mm.
My wife's family are all PhDs, MDs, you know, master no, Ivy League degrees. My son's at USC, which I know you went to.
Oh,
Yeah,
alumni fire.
fight on. Yeah, so proud.
Uh-huh.
But my education was hands-on, right?
Mm,
So the
mm,
energy of creativity was given to me by mentors, given
mm,
to me by learning, by being next to
mm.
somebody and learning about light, learning
Yes.
about how to talk to somebody to get them to look
Mm,
at the picture.
mm-hmm.
That's how do you get an old timer on the side of the road to stop and look at
Yeah,
your camera? What do you say to them? How do you connect with them?
yeah,
How do you listen?
yeah.
How do you make them feel comfortable? And I think the thing that taught me the most in life was
Mm,
documentary filmmaking.
mm, yes.
To have to ask somebody for your trust, to let
Mm-hmm.
them know that you're trying to create something to the story to help benefit society.
Mm-hmm.
And it also had to help you learn how to sell yourself to get them to believe in you, to give
Yes,
the review
yes.
for them. And everybody's different energy. I was in a call today, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the people were smiling, and some people just sat there with a stone cold face. And I like, why are you not having fun? This isn't. I don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to. You should enjoy it. If your days are bad, but you should enjoy your day Try to put out good creative energy, and good energy will come back. But I think creativity takes a lot of people, and to have good energy allows other people to feel it, and they will get on board and be behind. That was a long road to a long road back to where we started, I guess.
Yes, I totally agree. Like now, I learn from you, right? We're now on campus, but by connect with each other, by deep talk conversation, like by yesterday, I go through all your amazing work. I inspire a lot. I can feel the attitude. And when we're on set, I can feel your teamwork. You're a really nice leader. You're so funny. You're so professional. And just, I learn a lot.
It took me a while to learn that as well. I think when I was younger, I was so nervous, because I was a director, and that I had to be the director. And that's not who I'm supposed to be. I'm me, who happens to be a director. I'm not a director who happens to be me. And I think the word director isn't whatever. I don't care. Everybody's important to me. I treat everybody important on set. I'm always like the day of our shoot, I was putting down mats on the floor, helping the youngest person on the crew do that. Because I want them to feel important as well. Like they're not just a laborer. Because if they didn't do that, we could not stop. We couldn't shoot. If they don't move the tables, we can't. So everybody's important. It is like an orchestra. And I think I'm the conductor. Everybody has an instrument or a position. And the job is to get through the day conducting creativity. Compared to movies are sometimes hard too. It's not always easy. Sets are sometimes hard, and things take time, and it's all human beings. It's really hard. I think the hardest part of my job is depending on so many human beings. And everybody's important. Otherwise, it's like an ant farm. None of the structure runs forward.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time. I've always been grateful to my crew. I've always shook hands to everybody at the end of the day. I've always said thank you.
Yes.
Very important. And I think it just helps. People want to work with you again. People want to, they want to be part of that energy. And I think, and having the day be efficient makes everybody feel really good, because they know their role helped that day be efficient. We got everything done because of not your hard work and his hard work. Now we can go home. And that's kind of what I've learned. It took a little while to figure that out. Every project has a finish line. And you just want to get over that finish line, deliver a good product, and walk away where everybody feels good. There's, because it's hard. Filmmaking is very hard.
Yes.
Moving.
Yes.
And actors and departments, and when you're doing company moves, you're shooting half a day here, then everybody's breaking down, and you move into another location here. It's a lot of work. I think in the days coming ahead, I think I don't want AI to take over a lot of filmmaking, because it's an experience. If we did AI, I don't meet you. I don't get to learn about my cinematographer's kids, how they're doing. I don't get to talk over sandwiches or lunchtime with my people or crews. And so the human interaction is so important, because that's what keeps us connected in a true energy space.
I can feel you're so openness, you're so positive, and I can feel you open to different cultures. Is that based on like your background? Like you live in so many different places, like Italy, France.
Yeah.
And may I ask, what did home feel like to you growing up?
That's an interesting question. I think it was super important for me to create my own home. Okay. Because I came from a very difficult home, right? So to create a home that was calm, quiet, safe for me allowed me to figure out how to create a beautiful family and give them the same thing. So and curating that home is not just about the things we put on the wall. It's more about the love inside the walls, right?
Yes.
How we handle things as a family, or how I handle things when I was just married to my wife, to have enough
Mm,
trust to get to the family. So
yeah.
by always having a home, it always allowed us to work on the next home, or the vision of where we're going. And to go back to cultures, I've traveled my whole life.
Yeah.
And some people wait till they're 65 to go see the world. I've seen the world.
Oh,
Right?
wow, wow. How many countries
Yeah.
you have been?
I don't know. I mostly work all over.
Wow.
But the thing about it is, when I'm there, I'm friends with my crews.
Mm,
We go out to eat, we have food, and then you bring back things home, and you
yeah.
bring back your stories, and maybe you bring back a piece of art. I have some art here. I have art,
Oh,
things from Argentina, and Tokyo, all the things. So that's what makes your home, is like the things that create you as a character, because everybody's home is really a reflection of who their personality is, right?
mm, mm,
And what makes, when you come home, especially after traveling, oh geez, how nice is your bed?
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think I've always needed to travel, but
Uh-huh.
I've always needed to come home.
Yes, yes, I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But bringing back, whether it's a painting or, one of my favorite things I have, and I have it to this day, it's on my armoire, and it's just the little, I have like an armoire from the 1860s, a French armoire. And the key, I have a little tassel that I have on
Mm-hmm,
the key.
mm-hmm,
I bought that at the antique market in Paris
mm-hmm.
like 25 years ago.
Wow.
And it's not huge or anything, but like those little things are
Mm.
stories,
Yes,
so
yes,
your home is filled with stories.
yes.
And as a kid growing up, and I'm sure like you, is like where you come from is important,
Yeah.
but that's part of you, but you seek adventures to bring, to bring more to your life. And I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
always traveling.
Yeah,
If I'm not working, I'm going to travel.
yeah. You said like you from a difficult family. What that mean?
My father ran a television station, and my
Mm,
mom worked at the opera house.
mm,
Okay, so but artists, which my mom was, they're all little nuts. So I
mm,
had to deal with that.
mm,
And my father was brilliant, but when I say a difficult family, it wasn't nice to be home. So I always
mm,
didn't want to be home. So when I was
mm,
able to get out of college and go and have this little studio apartment that I
mm,
had no money to furnish or whatever, I just loved the days of just walking around the city and finding like things. And like in my place here, I have like these chairs, these old, like in my here I have, my desk is from the 1950s, the chairs are from the 1950s. I have old, like, I collect a lot of antiques.
mm,
And when I first started, I've always wanted to buy things that just kept me warm, combs
mm,
and wood and things like that, just to create a home that just felt
mm,
warm no matter what, especially in
mm,
Chicago when it was so
mm,
cold.
mm,
But I love antiques. I love personalities. And I go to many homes.
mm, mm, yeah.
I was at a $23 million home last
Oh,
week.
wow, 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 wow.
And I'm just kind of surprised on, what people pick in regards to
Mm,
their choices, right?
mm,
And just because you have money doesn't mean you have style, right?
yeah.
Sometimes people hire people to create their stuff. But I think, like, your choices matter. What you put in your
Uh-huh.
home matters. Now,
Mm-hmm.
some people don't bring other people to their homes a lot, but when you
Mm,
do, it's a reflection. And I remember I was at this other house, another beautiful home in
mm-hmm.
Beverly Hills, and
Mm-hmm.
they enjoyed saying, "Oh, I turned this room into a yoga room. I took this out, and since the kids off to college." So everybody's excited about their home. Your home is
Mm-hmm.
so important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's interesting in this country. It's what we work so hard for. It's
Mm-hmm.
really what the dream was. The American dream when I was a kid is that you grow up, and and you go to college, which was what I learned. I didn't know that, but I did. I learned. And then you get married, you buy a house, and you have a baby, right? And that's kind of the American dream. I want, it never changes, right? And home ownership has always been something that a lot of the young people are working on. But that's the dream. I think the dream is to have something of your own. I think as you get older, you want to simplify. You don't need as much. But you still have a sense of space. You still want your space.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't know anything. I really don't.
Yeah, I can feel you're so sensitive about like color, light, design. And may I ask, do you remember any specific image, place, or feeling from childhood that still stay with you creatively today?
That's a good question. When I first got my job in Chicago as a young art director, I was right across the street from the Art Institute of Chicago. And it was free on Tuesdays. And I'm obsessed with design. I think all good creatives are obsessed with design, aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I think living in Chicago, coming from Detroit to Chicago, I was always just blown away by how beautiful things were in Chicago.
Oh.
It reminded me a lot of Europe because all of the windows were carved and, the buildings are so beautiful. So I think living in Chicago, being able to go to the Art Institute and be able to walk the city and just study buildings, and study, the limestones and the carvings and the way the doors were and the handles. It reminded me a lot of Paris as a kid. 'Cause I spent a lot of time in France as a kid too, in the summers, and it all just stuck with me. I always say that as an artist, you're paid for your choices. You're paid for your feelings. Your feelings tell you what works. Your choices are what you give back. And I think by being a young kid and going in Paris, going into the coffee shops, going to the museums, going to the fashion houses as a kid, and working with all this incredible aesthetic around me in Chicago, it gave me the love that I had inside of me. Absorbed it all. And I think it's what I miss most about this town here in Los Angeles. I cannot get out and just walk the city streets and see something I've never seen before. Because it's such a new city. It's such a it's not an aesthetic city so much in regards to classic architecture like Chicago or New York, Boston. I lived in all three of those places. But I think that's really what I think drives a lot of people is this thirst for absorbing incredible things, whether it's a church with all of the beautiful carvings and paintings, which I always admired, or a museum, or a bookstore. And it's just so important. I can't explain it. Like I feel, and I'm going to be super passionate about this, is that I feel like I'm spending too much time on my screen and I'm not out absorbing the world enough because we're forced to the screen. I just been doing pottery. I've been doing pottery. I'm not very good at it. Okay. I'm not good at, I'm learning how to get the pots to come up. But it takes me away from the screen. It makes me touch something physical. Right, where I can have a feeling. I'm around other artists, which is so important. Right. And even with like the TWOPAGES, my really good friend Brian was working with me, and we collectively work together. You talk to each other, and talking to you. We need each other to talk to. The isolated at home does not work. We need to be around artists, and we need to be around minds, and that's what makes us stronger. What's happening with that's why we should have a coffee. We should talk about
of
talk
course,
about art, talk about life. Because and that's one thing that I love to do. Like before COVID, I was always had parties in my backyard. I always had
Yeah.
come over, right?
Oh.
And I never felt alone. Like when I'm on set, I
Yeah.
bring everybody
Yeah.
together. But a
Yeah.
lot of times as a director, you're working, you're working, you're working. And I used to work in the offices in Hollywood. They closed a lot of the production offices down to
Mm-hmm.
work at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I do miss that connectivity a
Mm-hmm.
lot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for teamwork, I can feel your team is amazing. Everybody is just so nice, and I feel their position, anything is so right. How you choose right people for
Yeah.
right position.
I worked with the same people for most of
Mm,
the years.
mm-hmm,
And there's a language and
mm,
there's trust.
mm,
And I think the importance of, well, a lot of people just keep on switching in
mm,
creative process. And I think it's
mm-hmm,
important because you need to try somebody new here, try somebody new here.
mm-hmm,
But when you have a language and you know you're going
mm-hmm,
to succeed, I'll bring my same people on because
mm-hmm.
I know I'm going to succeed. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
You know,
yes,
I'm
yes.
working on another project now for another Chinese company,
Mm-hmm,
and yeah, it's very cultural sensitive, and
mm-hmm.
so I'm bringing on my team. Not all of us are Asian, but we understand.
Yes, that's made
Yeah.
me feel surprised, to be honest.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, so many details, and I just feel so warm to stay with your team.
Yeah, well, it's a really good team. I think there's a lot of stories to tell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think windows are like these bookends
Mm.
to the world and bookends
Yeah.
to memory.
Yeah.
And through the window, life happens. And I
Mm-hmm.
think our home, when we're in our home and we look out into the world, we
Mm-hmm.
are protected in our home. And I think
Mm-hmm.
windows add this layer of sensitivity. And I think that was one of the big things that we did together. And in all work, there should be an appreciation to light,
Mm-hmm.
appreciation to sensitivity, because otherwise you're selling a product. Are you selling an emotion or are you
Mm-hmm.
selling a product? And I think you
Mm-hmm.
can do both,
Mm-hmm.
you win.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's making somebody laugh,
Mm-hmm.
making somebody cry,
Mm-hmm.
or scaring somebody,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or putting them on
Mm-hmm.
the edge of their seats.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're supposed to do as a filmmaker. You're supposed to conduct emotion.
Yeah. Yeah. You working in a lot of brand storytelling. How do you balance the need of the brand, the business side, and part of creative side? Like you want to
Yeah, no,
say.
I think that's a really good question.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a great question. I think as a business person and a brand builder,
Mm-hmm.
I think that your voice has to be consistent
Mm-hmm.
across the channel
Mm-hmm.
and the message. And that's the one thing, like I think whether it's like Toyota or or New Balance or or a pharmaceutical company, whatever it is, like the message itself will support the client enough that I feel like you have to be original,
Mm-hmm.
number one. You have to
Mm-hmm.
take risk because I think one thing that I realized when I was in the advertising world, and I did it for so many years and it hasn't changed, is that
Mm-hmm.
they always say, "Oh my God, did you see what they did? It was so good." But why didn't you do it? Because you have to take the risk. The risk is the hardest part. That's the biggest thing, is to take a risk to define your brand. I always said originality plus timing
Mm-hmm.
equals branding.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like consistency. So consistency across all the stuff you created.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody sees it, they understand the tone, they understand the feeling, they can define it. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
And but I started in advertising, so working with the client,
Mm-hmm.
understanding how much work they did
Mm-hmm.
get to the set.
Mm-hmm.
I'm empathetic to that. Like I'm empathetic that you had to sit in all the meetings and I get to come and shoot it. So I do care about the people around me because
Yes.
I know
Yes.
how much hard work they put into it.
Mm.
I can't just ignore it. So it's
Yeah.
a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I think when I was a kid and I would be on set and I wanted to go talk to the director and they said, no, you can't talk to him.
Mm,
I hated that. So when
mm,
I work, I keep the agency close to me.
mm-hmm, yes,
I keep the the actors close to me. I keep it organic,
yes.
and I'm open to ideas. Why not? And but I know what I need, but
Mm,
I'm open to things because I have to be. And I
mm-hmm,
don't know all the answers. Sometimes I just wait for them to come to me, and then
yeah.
that's it. And I think I'm open to that. And that's whether if I'm on set or whether I'm writing. Um, I have more relief in my life with this philosophy
Mm-hmm,
is that I'll put the work in, and but the answers aren't coming from me.
mm-hmm,
The answers will come to me while I put the work in.
mm-hmm,
So because that's where you solve it. You're solving up you create a spine of all the things you need,
mm-hmm.
but everything else should, you got to be open to, like, did I really write Anniversario? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Yeah.
I did because I sat there and struggled to write the scenes and write the lines and write the
Mm,
beautiful dialogue.
mm-hmm.
But it came.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a kid who barely got out of high school and then got into college and then figured out photography. So it's very different when I'm in these parties and people say, "Oh yeah, I went to USC, I went to Yale, I went to Penn, I went,
Mm-hmm.
to all these places." I come from a very small college,
Mm-hmm.
but I was blessed.
Mm,
I've always had a mentor. I've always had a mentor, females, men. They
yeah.
always mentored me
Yeah.
because they saw how hard I worked and they saw that I had
Mm-hmm.
talent.
Mm-hmm.
And over those years, I keep calling them back and saying thank you all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
important. It's
Yes.
important to have good people that help you learn. Yeah.
Yeah. I do little research. I find our background, to be honest, is quite similar. Yeah. Like for my undergraduate degree, I have double degree. One is broadcasting.
Yeah, that's like me.
Yes,
Yeah.
art of hosting and broadcasting.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah, you're doing a great job. I think what you're doing is we get to learn from each other,
Oh.
right? And it's so important. When I hire people who I bring in to work with me, they're young.
Mm,
I know I'm going to learn from them something,
oh.
right? Or like, oh, have you tried this? Maybe we can. But I'm happy to teach. I've mentored a lot of people. I'm really happy to say that. And
Mm-hmm.
all have done super well.
Mm,
And it's great to see. I think to me that's from my favorite thing that I've done is just always because somebody did it to me.
mm-hmm.
Somebody helped me. They gave me the chance, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind doing it because and when I was younger, I was super hard on them. Like they show up late, I was pissed because but they're professionals now. When I was a kid, people were hard on me. I think it's okay to be hard on people because if you're going to succeed, you got to show up on time. Right
Mm,
here, I was 10 minutes late, so forgive me. But you got to show up on time
mm-hmm.
to production because production costs money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you treat people well, all these people, when they're growing up with you, you guys are gonna be friends. So
Yeah.
I think we learn so much from each other. I learn a lot from the people that I hire.
Yeah.
I think it's constant learning. I think that's the beauty of filmmaking is that you're constantly learning stuff. I'm learning special effects and makeup and blood and
Oh.
gun pops and military fight. I'm doing a military movie, and it's got a couple scenes, not the whole movie, but and that excites me. And am I nervous? Yeah, I haven't done it before, but I never did a car driving backwards and doing stunts before. And
Mm-hmm.
I showed up with a little car and my little wheel, and I had my board that I drew the road on, and everybody surrounded me and they said, "What do you want to do?" And I just kind of showed them what I wanted to do, but I knew everybody around me was as professional as they could be.
Yeah.
So when we showed up the next time to shoot, I just did it and it worked.
Yeah, amazing. And may I ask, when you approach the Two Pages film, what human feeling were you trying to protect at the center of it?
It's a great question because when they called me to do it,
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it was curtains, and I looked, and I think what curtains are wonderful because I think about light.
Mm,
I always think about light, and light is warm, and light is soft, and that's inviting and sensitive.
mm,
So, and then adding humanity, like true human sensitivity to a story,
mm-hmm.
not a hard sell, is
Mm,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
It's nice.
yeah.
How do I feel? Can I connect? Can I connect to that person?
Yes,
That's the most
yes,
important question.
yes, yes,
If I
yes.
can connect to that person or feel something,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a win. So you're not
Mm-hmm.
just selling product; you're selling an experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good. I think it's really exciting to work with Two Pages. I was telling my
Oh,
son who's going into business, he's
mm-hmm.
like looking at business schools,
Oh,
undergraduate.
Marshall?
I pray. I
Oh,
pray. Yeah. But
yeah.
he's looking at SMU, Marshall, Tulane, all these places
Mm-hmm.
and he speaks perfect Mandarin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about how global
Mm,
the world is when it comes to business and how exciting it was to see products come from China and then put the things
mm,
together and then
mm,
understand that this is an incredible business opportunity for
mm,
the Two Pages for this country and to create kind of like a voice
mm,
in this space
mm,
that is really untapped.
mm,
Be the first one to take those risks. But did you see what
mm,
they were doing? Remember we talked about that. Back in
mm.
the day was, oh, I love what Target's doing, but nobody did what Target was doing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right? Or
yeah.
I love what Apple's doing, but nobody's doing what Apple's doing. Take the risk. It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
take a risk because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if it's so a little bit on the edge,
Yeah, yeah.
it makes you so different. But with strategy,
Yes,
with strategy.
yes.
So I think when it came to the strategy of Two Curtains working with the agency and Brian, who's a creative director, we want to just add this sensitivity and emotion
Mm-hmm.
and to make it soft,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and make it purposeful.
yes,
And yeah, that was the goal.
yes.
Yeah. And to find the rooms and the people and the casting and bring it all together.
Yeah, I still remember you said like you want to bring more warmth to this cold world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something I wrote something. It's on my desk, and it says, "If it never gets any better than this, that's enough."
Mm.
Because life is just beautiful as it is right now. We just are so focused on tomorrow,
Yeah, yes. Oh my
you
God,
know.
yes.
So just learning how to be okay with the now.
Mm-hmm.
And the journey is every day. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. Every day we wake up, it's a new journey and the possibility of
Mm-hmm.
something amazing happening. And being able to take the bullets, the arrows when things are negative, and to know that you have
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of loving people around you
Mm-hmm.
that support
Oh,
you, that
oh
can
my
get you
God.
through that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah. So, what feeling are you most drawn to in your work
Oh,
right
I'm
now?
drawn to painful characters going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think all of my characters that I write, mostly male characters, I haven't really tackled female characters in my storytelling, are male characters who are trying to heal,
Mm,
or have
yeah.
gone through something. And I think what in regards to storytelling, we all have something. Everybody has something behind the surface.
Yeah. Oh,
And
and you can say it.
yeah, I want
Yeah.
to say this because what it is through truth,
Mm,
honesty,
mm,
respect,
mm,
and taking care of each other and loving each other. And I feel that right now we've lost honesty in regards to the larger part of how the world is going. We've seen the chaos in the world,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are broken. And the
Yeah.
only way we
Oh.
could truly heal is to, I think cinema as a way of saying, shit, man, I feel that character, or I can relate to that character. So I'm working
Yeah.
on those type of stories, and I'm also working on stories based on faith
Yeah.
and spirituality, not necessarily Catholic religion or anything like that, or but I believe that faith, no matter what the faith is like, you have to have faith. And
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
most
I agree.
important
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
done this for 25 years in Hollywood, and
Uh-huh.
there's so many times I wanted to quit, but
Uh-huh.
somehow God has kind of given me a gift to keep working and to
Uh-huh.
be around amazing people that believe in
Uh-huh.
me, and
Uh-huh.
have given me the opportunity
Uh-huh.
to seize upon that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just the opportunity, it's what you do with the opportunity.
Yeah. Yes. Why faith is so
Faith, yeah,
important for you?
it's so important. We all have different faiths. It doesn't really matter what the religion is, but I kind of like the Greek gods. I like this energy. I like when you go outside of the world and you go to like NASA and you look at a star, or you look at a nebula, or you look at all of these things, and you look back at the earth and you realize we're just energy.
Mhm.
And if you're either going to use that energy to love, help, heal, and grow, or to hurt, harm, and humiliate. And I think I've seen it. I've seen it here where there's desperation in people, and there's no such thing as fairness.
Mhm.
And then I've seen people who are just amazing, and the humans are amazing. That's the most amazing thing.
Oh, really? When
Yeah,
I'm young, I agree with you. Like, human is amazing, but
you
now,
have to have the faith. We talked about it.
uh,
If you have the faith,
I
it'll be
feel
okay.
human is too complicated.
Well, it never gets easier.
Yeah,
But the
it's
thing
so
about it,
hard.
yeah, the thing about it is just learn to navigate them, and that's part of it. I can't figure everybody out either.
Yes, I
You
feel
know, I
it's so
wanted I wanted
hard.
my last guy in my conference call to smile so bad, but he wouldn't smile. I don't know, why don't you want to smile? Don't be so serious, man.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's just a project. It's nothing serious. It's not the world.
yeah.
The most important thing in the end is just having a safe place like home, and
Mm,
knowing when you come home that you're loved. And I wish that upon
mm,
everybody, because some people have it hard. They don't have a safe home. Some kids don't have a safe home. I think going back to the whole purpose of this and the idea of home
mm.
is this, I think, stylizing your home is your personality,
Yeah,
and
yes,
being able to share that with somebody is exciting. And
yes.
whether it's just a lamp that you bought or a whole new design,
Mm-hmm.
exciting just as it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think one of my favorite saying is "Mi casa es su casa," which is my house is your house,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So, like, meaning that if you ever want to come over and hang out, I love
Uh-huh.
people, and I say that a lot. I say that to a lot of people because I know my home is probably not as nice as these $15 million houses, but I have a beautiful house. My house is a simple house, right? And it's my house, and I
Oh,
designed it. And I think
oh.
that's what makes people feel good, is to have this personalization of space,
Mm,
and to control the light
mm,
to your personality is what
mm,
curtains do. They allow you to
mm.
adjust light, and light is what gives us. It's the vitamin D. Without vitamin D, we're exhausted. We're drowned out.
Yeah.
So it's light is energy. Going back to
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes. So last question, what does home mean to you right now?
Home. Oh. Home is my base
Mm-hmm.
to see the world,
Oh.
and to always be able to come back, safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, LA's hard. I'll just
Yeah.
So, you know, I think my home is everything really to me. You know, I feel
Mm-hmm.
really bad for the friends that lost their houses.
Mm.
I'll end this on this is that when the fire was coming down,
Oh,
you pick up
yes.
you get a box and I was like trying to figure out what to take and I just brought the most random shit. It was just one box and I just said, I can lose everything. I don't really care. Now, it didn't affect me and I kept the things around me. But I got to the point I can take this little box and I was fine. My friends, many families in our school lost their house and they had to start
Oh,
over.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right. But there's strong parents, amazing parents. And the goal, what is their ultimate goal? Is just to have a home again, right? Have it for their family, to take care of their family.
Mm,
So I think it's a very special thing. I think I would hope that everybody has a chance in their life to just really design their own home,
mhm,
you know, share their home with people. I think it's very important. Have people over for a glass of wine, have people over for a cup of tea. And I'll tell you something. Don't get locked up in your home. Go out and just say hello, compliment somebody on their shoes or their jacket and get to know people because you can bring those stories back home and it just makes your life and your children more rich.
mhm.
I think we need more community. I would, you know, I go to these Latin cultures and other cultures, Asian cultures and Indian culture, and everybody's getting together to eat and have food.
Oh,
I think it's so important, you know, to cook for people, to feed people, and to talk about life because that's what makes you live longer, is
yeah.
to share your stories. And I'm super happy you allowed me to share my story. I mean, I don't know. I hope it inspires somebody to just like trust their gut and that the arts are inside of you and that you know to find a channel to let it out and just to you know to be obsessed with the things you love. That's the most important thing is to and to get through the days that of doubt because artists have doubt, you know. So
Yeah, I feel it's wow, make me I really admire how you so positive.
oh,
You
you do.
always
Am I
so
really so
positive.
positive? Well, well, maybe I'm positive because I have to tell myself to punch through,
Mm,
you know, and to believe in my crazy ideas. So, because if I don't believe in them, nobody else will.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
And and to work on them so hard that they do make sense, you know. And it
yeah.
takes a lot. It takes people to do things. Pottery, not so much. I go to the pottery studio. I can make my pots. I learn a little bit, and I go. But in film, it's complicated,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a hard one. I think kids coming up today, you know, it's changing so much. But I think of all the things I can say, it's just to be a good leader
Mm-hmm.
is to lead with positivity and confidence. And at times in the
Yeah,
past,
yeah.
I never did that. And I was young, I didn't do that. I was always kind of like on edge with people. And that's because I was nervous and I was scared. That was my defense mechanism. But I think good directors lead with clear vision and confidence and positivity. And I think that's with any company. So I didn't always work in the film industry. You know, I've seen a lot of successful companies treat their people well. And you know, the agency I worked for with you guys, you know,
Mm.
treat people well. You know, when you come
Yes.
to parties and you know, you take care of each other and you go out to dinner together, and
Mm-hmm.
that's important. So I think as a driving town, my in LA's hard. My goal is to be connected with people as much as possible.
Mm, we
That's what
have to. We have to.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'll bring my artist friends as well. You know, we used to do Thursday night every Thursday on the beach. We'd have drinks.
Oh, really? May I join you guys?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then COVID came, but you know, it takes
Mm,
that effort, it takes that energy, and I think,
mm,
you know, what you put out into the world will come
mm,
back.
mm. Okay, Jeffrey, thank you so
Oh,
much for being here.
Oh, well, thank you so much. All I can say is shia.
哦，谢谢
Yeah. Yeah.
哦
And I wish you much success with your podcast.
oh, thank you. I really like. So I'm so grateful for Two Pages.
And whatever I can do to help you, let me know. If you want to go do your house TV show, let me know. I'll help you figure it out.
Yes, of course, of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a beautiful day and thank you. All right. Have a nice day.
To everyone listening, thank you so much for being here with us. If this conversation stays with you, we love you to share it with your friends. This is Not Just a Home Thing by Two Pages. I'm Natalie, and we will see you next time. Bye.